Okay, cool. All right, so what's up, world? This is Gumaro, aka RNB Nerd, and we are having the pleasure of speaking with Terrence Léon, correct?
That's correct.
All right, Terrence, if you can tell us a little bit about, yeah, where you're based, where you're from, how you got started, that'd be great.
I am based in Austin, Texas, and I am actually from Austin, Texas.
Very
I got started with I guess I can't really specify it to R&B with
Yeah.
music, period, just
Mhm.
kind of growing up. Music for me has always been like a happy place, and music
Okay.
for me has always been a way to express myself, and music has always communicated what I haven't always been able to articulate,
Mhm.
and it's understood when other people didn't understand. And so I was just like, wow, um,
It's powerful.
it's powerful. And if it does this for me, I'd love to be able to do this for other people, while also still being able to do it for me.
For sure. Yeah, that was one of my questions was, has music always been something that you knew you wanted to do? And what were your inspirations musically growing? Because I feel like, if you love music the way it seems like you do, and someone like myself as well, like there's immediate thoughts and ideas of who our inspirations were, who like fed us, as young people. So could you share a little bit about who that was for you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I've been like on a musical journey. It started with Avant, because Avant was the most at the time for the music that I was given access to,
Yeah.
was the most similar vocally, so I could kind of
Okay.
understand what I was doing singing Avant.
Very
And
cool.
then from there, it was kind of like I got into the musicality of things. And it's not to say that Avant isn't, musically inclined or doesn't have a certain, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
get you
the
100%.
the legend.
Technical and stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. That was when I really got into Brandy. So
Oh, then game over. Game over. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay. Say less. Yeah, I get you. That's so cool. So Avant, Brandy, anybody else?
Tweet.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of people asleep on Tweet. They don't
Yes.
understand. Like she's
Yes.
doing some things there, and you
Yeah.
miss it if you're not listening.
100%. Wow, it's really cool. I feel like people definitely don't give her the flowers that are deserving, that are deserved, as well as recognize what she's done and what is there. So that's really cool. So I don't even know how we connected on social media. And so and that really just goes to show like the power of social media and how you can really just connect people from all walks of life and just from any place and anywhere. And so I was curious if and how you've used social media as a tool to kind of like get more exposure, how you've used it to further your own like career in your own work.
Social media definitely is a tool. I
Mhm.
feel it's like money. It just kind of exposes what's already there. A lot of
Okay.
people say it's like it's a negative thing, but it's like it just magnifies whatever you put in front of it. So if
Hmm.
there are any chinks in the armor, of course we're going to see them. The
Right.
light is showing.
Right.
Um, but I think social media probably has gotten me the furthest in my career because
Okay.
Austin doesn't really have as major a R&B scene as it does the hip hop scene.
Right.
So it's been easier for me to gravitate with those outside of the city. Not to say that Austin doesn't have dope R&B artists or
Yeah.
R&B, creatives here. It's just
Right.
culturally and scenically, it's a little bit different to
Got
move
it.
on here. Uh,
Yeah.
so social media has literally opened the door for everything for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like a lot. I went to Austin for the very first time back in September of last year, and I loved it. It was so dope. I got perfect weather. I was so happy that I went there, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Austin's such a music city." But for me, how I love R&B, I was like, "Is it?" Like I don't know. Like I don't associate it. Like you said, I definitely get the hip hop reference in country or something. And that's kind of like what I would, or like blues or something. I just didn't really get the when it came to music I liked. I was like, I don't know about that. But I mean, so I definitely see your point there. That's cool. So if you had to give us like a quick elevator pitch of like your vibe or like your sound, how would you describe it?
Everyone asks me this, and I haven't exactly got that down.
Okay.
Because for a while, it was me trying to, I guess, more so dictate what I wanted to do musically, and then
Mhm.
it was more so like just listening to the feedback I would get. I kind of shifted, and so I think I finally found the middle ground. And the middle ground for me is a little bit different because it's like it this has been my experience. And I don't know if anyone else in my voice type has said this. It doesn't matter what I sing about. People are always telling me what they're doing with my music, and I'm like, that isn't exactly where I was going with the song, but I'm happy you got
Okay.
there. You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was something for you. But I think my music will just be genuine R&B.
okay.
Very, very I kind of focus more on my vocals. I understand that some people are like more just
On the
storytelling,
production
the
or the
production of
right.
things.
Mhm.
I love songwriting, but I don't think that like when you think of storytellers, you think of more of like Summer Walker,
Yeah,
Mariah the Scientist, Mariah Carey for that
Mariah
matter.
Carey, right?
Just people that are just lyrically heavy.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm one of those people.
Yeah. And that's cool too. I feel like I definitely see the focus on your voice, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we get into like the project and the individual songs. So, thank you for that. And I guess my next question was, who did you work with on this project? Was it like, were there co-writers? Is there a producer you worked with? Is it all you?
So as far as writing, so far it has always been me.
Okay.
For producers, the long haul has been Tim Curry. He's kind of like my mentor in a lot of ways. I kind of fact check a lot of things through him, or
That's cool.
if I'm not understanding what I'm trying to communicate or what I'm even trying to do creatively, I'll talk to him about it, and
Right.
he'll be, this is what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's he's kind of like the bulk of my production. If it's not just me,
Okay.
uh, but his hand is always in everything that I do. And then I also have BC, who I found on YouTube. Um, he is an amazing beat maker and producer in his own right. I think that we've made in my opinion, some of my best music uh,
Mhm.
working together. And then I also have Bones, the producer, who did Rain. And she's also I have coming like it's like a Rain remix, but it's like
Okay.
a spin off of the song, but it's also not. Y'all will hear it and y'all will understand where I'm going with it.
Okay. Well, I was curious because I mean, for me, in my opinion, as a new artist or somebody who may not have like access to all the resources, like for me, I feel like all the songs just sound so like well produced. It sounds expensive, which I'm always like hashtag make R&B expensive again. Like I need like let's make it the best it could possibly be. So I feel like that's what I get across when I that's what comes across to me when I heard the project. So hopefully you're really proud of it and you are, taking your own flowers too. Are there any people you'd love to collaborate with in the future, or any writers you'd love to work with, like in this space or anywhere else in any other space?
Yes, Alex Isley, Kenyon Dixon,
Okay. Yeah, I love that
a
you know
lot.
the names. Like put it out there, man. Let's make it, let's manifest it. Love that.
I've been
Kenyon's great.
manifesting these for years. So Ray Louise was on my to-do list for ever. And I finally got one with her.
Oh, that's so cool.
I just I have a list. I'm working through it, and what I do is I add a name to it, and then I just talk to God about it and be like, you know what? I won't obsess over the middle. I know the end point.
Yeah.
I'll let God work it out, and how the pieces fall, they fall, just
Yeah.
as long as I get there.
That's great. Oh, I love that. Yeah, and I think, it's that's from what I can tell, it seems like people that are really driven and kind of like end up where they're supposed to be as people that kind of have those lists. So I love that you already immediately know, like, there are, people too, like come to mind for me when I think about like specific people that I'm like, yo, if I would ever make like a fire R&B album, like Sean Garrett, like, all these people are just like immediately coming to mind. So that just means that you're so in tune with the culture and with the people that are making like the music that's the shit. So all right, so let's get into the project if we can now. So when I saw the name, I was kind of like, I wonder what this means. So I found that stasis is defined as a period or state of inactivity or equilibrium. So I was curious what the inspiration was to name the project that, or why you felt the need to kind of like put that theme over it.
So with Stasis, hmm, I was in a weird space. I technically have two EPs that I was like working on getting done. Then I tried to put them in an album. Then I was like, broke them back down to two EPs. And
Okay.
then I had another project that I was working on that turned into an album by itself. And then I was just kind of like, all of this movement, but I'm
Mhm.
still just in the same
Oh,
spot. It
got
doesn't
it.
matter what I'm doing, I'm still at square one.
Mm,
So I was just like, let's just take some time to reflect. And then it was just, I don't know what happened. It was like a weekend happened. I was sitting in front of my computer and I was trying to record and I was just not going creatively where I wanted to go,
mm,
but I was going somewhere. It doesn't matter. Like I would try to change the beat. I would try to, speak to some other creatives who'd be like, all right, this is where I'm trying to go, but I keep landing here. And they were just like, well, just go there. Let it be what it is.
yeah.
And so I just went where, and I always think of it about it like this. Like I've gotten a lot of comparisons in my songwriting to The Dream
Mm, I can
numerous
see that.
times.
Yeah, I can see that
And it is a huge shoe to fill, a huge shoe to fill.
for sure.
But when I write songs, I don't really write songs, if that makes sense. I just kind of
Yeah.
like let myself become a medium for the
Mm,
song and
mm,
just let the song write itself.
yeah.
And so I did my best to remove me and just kind of like become a passenger. And that's
Mm,
what Stasis was about. Because I was
okay.
just going through things. Like it was just like no matter what I did, it wasn't working out. I have all the advice for everyone else, but when I apply it to myself, it still won't work. So
Mm,
it's just like, what do I do? And it was
right.
a friend of mine that said sometimes separation and silence and being still is something that you have to go through to grow and get to the next step, next level and evolve.
Mm. So your stasis was necessary for you to like, it was like a step in the right direction. Uh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then also too, when I look at the Audio Mac page, there was a really, I don't know if this was a description of the project, but it says feelings as if he was watching time fly by. Terrence drew from his angst and created a space to be honest and vulnerable with himself. Each song was a moment to stand before a different mirror in his relationship and face something new and different within himself. Did you write that?
I did.
Oh man, that's so good. I was like, damn, that's actually kind of how I would describe the project. So that was really cool. I love that. So I kind of answered my own question, but I still wanted to ask you and just kind of like get what your thoughts were on the title and kind of the overall theme. So getting right into the very first song, So Say Less. So I love the ad libs on this one, and I just felt like it was such a great way to open the set. So I just wanted to, I was curious if you could talk to us a little bit about what your intention was, what setting with opening the project with that song. And now I guess that I'm kind of like talking through it, it kind of does make sense. But was there any emphasis put on like that being like the start of the journey, sort of thing?
Ironically, I wrote the songs in order.
Okay,
Uh, so I don't know how that happened, but it worked out.
it
But
did. Yeah,
Say
definitely.
Less, yes, 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 yes. Say Less was one of those things where I was kind of like, if you listen to the chorus, it's like I acquiesce, I digress, I say
Mhm.
less
Yes.
because like I keep saying these things and I keep trying things and they aren't working, and it's just like have your way, cool, whatever. Like I'm not meeting a middle ground in my relationship. I'm not
Right.
meeting a middle ground in anything that's outside of creatives, because if things aren't working in my personal life, I turn to music.
Hmm.
So, it's either music or God. You know what I'm saying? And a
Hmm.
lot of times, God is the only constant in my life. Everyone else is free to go.
Right.
But
Right.
in the realm of music, which God is always present in, because I feel like I kind of made a distinction, a separation. God is always there.
For
But
sure.
it was one of those things where it was just kind of like I've prayed about it and I can't lay it at God's feet and still hold on to it at the same time. And I can't say that I want these things and tell my partner that I aspire to these things or
Mhm.
this relationship should be da 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 da. And it's just not working. So if I can't figure it out, I need to sit back and let it try to work itself out. So it's just like you can have your way.
Yeah. Got it. Love that. So the next record, Love Runs Out. So like Say Less, to me, what stands out are the runs. So obviously you are really going there with, and it speaks to the point about, you saying that you emphasize the vocals. So it's really apparent in the record. So that's really cool. And I love the runs on there. And so, at the end of it, my immediate question was like, I gotta ask him like, where does love go when it runs out though? Like, do you know? Like, do you find did you find the answer to that?
No, and
That's
it's
cool.
kind of crazy.
Maybe we don't.
I hope we find out though. Um, and
Great
like
question.
you said, maybe we won't.
Yeah. And so it was at this point in the project where I was like, okay, I can kind of see where we're like, we're at a high, we're at the peak of the mountain, and then we hit the valley, which to me is Love Runs Out, and then we go like below sea level with Drown, because it's like we are just really going through the motions here. Which Drown is that's my favorite. I love the vibe, even though it's a more somber record. I feel like to me, I just feel like it's so raw. And I want to get clear in the lyrics here, or at least on the chorus, where we're saying, you say you're watching me drown. It's like every time you see me turn around. Am I getting that right?
Every time I seem to turn around.
Every time I seem to turn around, like that just seems so, I don't know. I've been there. I know many people have been there too. Can you tell us a little bit about that record? Because you really say some shit on that one, I feel. Yeah.
It's just realizing that because you start with Say Less, where it's just like, all right, I can't figure it out.
Right.
No matter what answer I come up with, it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into Love Runs Out, which is just kind of like, I'm not feeling it no more, you not feeling it no more, but neither one of us is really leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something worth people when they get in those modes. I don't know if it's whether like we're there because of the nostalgia. I don't know if we're there because we don't want to start over.
Right.
Whatever your reason for staying is what it is, but it's just like the love isn't here anymore.
Right.
And we get to Drown, which is just like we're both miserable. At
Mm-hmm.
least I know I'm miserable. And
Yes.
I feel like you've reached a point of resentment to the point that you're gonna make sure that I reach the epitome of misery and try to take
Yes.
it even further because
Yeah.
one of us wants to leave. And it's just like, even if you aren't intentionally punishing me, you are watching me drown in my skin. Like
Yeah.
we both know that and if you're watching your partner go through that, there's no way that you can say that you're in a place of joy either. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like we're both taking on water on the ship. We can't plug the holes, we can't get the water out, and
Yeah.
we're just drowning. And when you're drowning, it's kind of like the airplane thing where you have to secure the oxygen for yourself first before you can secure it for someone else. I
Mm-hmm.
can't secure myself. But from my perspective, from the song, I see you're in your boat and you're fine. You're just watching me
Mm-hmm.
drown. And it's just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like it didn't matter what the situation was, which is why I said it seems like every time I turn around, because it could be something that benefits you, it could be something that benefits me by ourselves, or I could be doing a favor. It doesn't really matter how you contextualize it. You are watching me suffer, and I
Yep.
can't help myself, and you know that, and you're just not. You're refusing to help me or
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that's very much what I got out of the record. And going back, because I spun the project a few different times just to make sure that like I got what I need to get out of it to come up with the questions and talk to you and respect you as an artist, as a creative, to give you hopefully a decent interview here. But yeah, I just feel like that one, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, man, and made me think of my own experiences. And even hearing you now talk about it and flesh it out a little bit more, I love that, because a lot of times people only get what they get from the song and that's it. So it's opportunities like this that are really cool, in my opinion, for the creative to really express truly what they're trying to convey. So really great. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about the remaining part of the EP being slowed reverb versions of the first three tracks. And I feel like that's a really popular trend right now on social media. Was that the intention behind getting that in those versions, or was there some other part of it that you wanted to, that I guess inspired you to kind of slow and reverb the songs down?
I'm from Texas, and we love chopped and screwed, but
Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I forget about that.
I just also didn't I didn't give myself time to really do chopped and screwed, and I wanted to give the project out for free. So I didn't I hate to say it like this, but I didn't want to make the financial investment to get everything chopped and screwed, but I could just slow and reverb it and get essentially the same, internal
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. Right, right, right. Cool. All right. Well, Terrence, that was all the questions I had. I mean, hopefully we're a little bit, I didn't want to take up too much of your time on a Sunday. I just really appreciate you getting on the call with me and being down to like do this and connect. It helps me become a better blogger, better person that's into the music and trying to promote it and bring it to as many people as possible because it's what I love to do. So um I guess that was all I have for today.
All right. I thank you for sharing your platform with me. Thank you
Yeah,
for checking out the project. It was really a labor of love.
for sure. It comes across that way. I really hope that you continue on with your journey and that you get to say everything that you want to say that's in your heart and that you continue to be inspired because it's the output is great. So I'm forever a fan and I'm always going to be there with you. So you have a great rest of your day.
You do the same. Thank you.
Okay, bye.